Hey everyone, and welcome to the ComaCast Live. We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. We'll see what else we can add next week. But hey, Matt, how are you doing? It's Friday.
It is Friday, and I'm pretty excited about it. I weirdly despite I don't have a set job, but all the work I do, I don't get paid for right now. So, which you know how that goes. So it's like, well, still working for, basically volunteering in my own life, but I put a lot of work in this week, so it was exciting. So it was just one of those things that it's like super exciting because a lot of progress on some personal projects like my book. We talked a little bit about it on the podcast yesterday. And then I don't know what we did yesterday. It was like 55 degrees and pouring down rain most of yesterday. So I slept, but then got up, ate, did more work, went back to sleep. I just wasn't. And then you and I worked yesterday. We recorded for a few hours and worked on things, and we had nothing but problems.
I blame Matt. I'm blaming Matt.
Oh my. David's like, so I heard you get upset the first time because he's like, I know that tone where you're like, okay, this isn't working.
Matt
Oh my
had
god.
to re-record several times because I could not hear him. And like the setup we have, I'm able to see his camera, so I can take him off camera. Like right now, I could be like, "Bye, Matt, you're out," and he can't say anything. But I can see when his signal goes down, and his signal has currently gone down. So we hope we can still hear him.
Well, so yesterday, how Cody and I normally record, if you watched us recently, is we'll chat for a little bit, kind of warm up the topic, and then switch to what we really want to talk about for the day. And it's been mostly working just fine. And the moment I would start talking about the topic, which I took the lead on yesterday, um, my sound would go completely away, so Cody couldn't hear me. So this happened about 6 times. And then the seventh time I said, fine. So I recorded my own audio. So even if Cody couldn't hear me, it would record. So we did everything completely for the eighth time. And while we were talking, I just happened to hit play on low so I could play it back. It recorded 1.5 seconds of buzzing. And I don't know why. And that was the end of my patience. So, because I mean, we had already been at it for a while, plus, all the work we did prior to even getting to that point, and we are both tired. It's late afternoon. I'm cold, and we are trying to get out of the house as we still have to go. We had to go pick up food because we were just starting to be able to like grocery shop to actually cook
Mm-hmm.
like normal things. So I just want to let you know, 5:30 traffic in San Antonio, Texas is not great. It was
I don't
awful.
want to hear any complaints.
We were gone for an hour and a half easy before, and an hour and a half, we still weren't even close to home yet. And we should have been back in 30 minutes, 40 minutes max.
I mean,
So,
LA traffic is way
well,
worse.
yeah,
San Diego, thankfully, isn't terribly bad, but it
right.
can get bad.
But I would not have chosen to go out because I'm aware that traffic is like that. But it was like, crap, I'm so hungry.
The thing is, like, in some areas of San Diego, but for sure in LA, there it's always busy. You just got to deal with it, and it's so annoying. Hey, Dominique, if you're still here, you got
I
conned into working. That's never fun.
I'm gonna go ahead and retweet this real quick and just kind of.
Chris, hi, happy Friday. Yep,
Okay, so notifications are working.
thankfully,
People are popping in.
yep. Yeah, it's Ella's doing good still. She's been out and about today. She slept in her cat tree most of the day. She has been sleeping in the top part of the cat tree. Now she has not done that in forever, but she's now doing that. We just had Sophie come by real quick, so we fed her before this started, and then we went for a little walk. We went for the walk after I was telling Matt I was making a intro show open for this and for our video podcast, because now we're recording all of our podcast episodes on video as well, so you can actually watch the video version of the podcast. So I was making stuff for that, and right before I was about to export it, it all crashed, and I was like over it, and so then we went and walked, and yeah. Um, so Matt, the other day in the news, they were talking about Mr. Potato Head.
Yes,
And Mr. Potato Head brand is going gender neutral now. They are dropping the title Mr. They announced this on Thursday that they'd be dropping the Mr. title from the brand to better reflect the full line. It is said that an upcoming playset will not feature Mr. and Mrs. designations, allowing kids to create their own potato families with two moms or two dads, a
I
celebration
love
of the
it.
many faces of families. Going on to say, Potato Head has provided endless creativity possibilities to our preschoolers for almost 70 years and will continue to do so. The possibilities to create your own families are endless with mixing and mashing all of the parts and pieces.
So I actually think that's a great idea because I remember. So my stepdad is very much. He always pushed the whole masculinity thing, and so did my grandparents. Um, they were content to leave me be, but if there was a way to make a comment about like that's not appropriate for a insert however old I was, boy, man, adult, male, there was always putting that in there. In fact, I have text messages from one of our last conversations a couple of years ago of my grandmother saying something along those lines. And so I wasn't allowed to have anything that said Mrs. She, if it could be construed as possibly a feminine toy, it was a no go. So I wasn't allowed to have anything like that. I'm like, that's dumb. You know, it's a toy. It's literally plastic. Like,
what what then got a little confusing though at one point. So Hasbro announces it got into like all the morning shows, I guess, and then Hasbro left a tweet out. They tweeted out about 12:30 or so. Hold that taut. Your main spud, Mr. Potato Head, isn't going anywhere. While it was announced today that the Potato Head brand name and logo are dropping the Mr. I am proud to confirm that Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head aren't going anywhere and will remain Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head.
I
So
love it.
as you can see, they're called Potato Head, but then further down, they're still Mr. Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head. So it sounds like they're just expanding the brand to include maybe baby potato heads. And so they want all under one
Buds.
brand. So I think it's a great thing. Obviously, we've talked about in the past about gender neutral toys, and Target made a big thing where all the toys are not separated by gender. Because used to it, there'd be like the girls' toys, the boys' toys, and then I guess there was just these toys, and then
Yeah.
they separated them into like makes more sense a little bit. Brands like here's the Legos, here's the dolls, here's the
Right. Oh
whatever.
my gosh. It's so we walked through Target last year. I had forgotten they did that. There's not really much. It's the same 4 or 5 aisles that are kids' toys, and you just wander up and down. If you don't want a pink Barbie doll, don't buy a pink Barbie doll. Like, it's not that hard.
Um, and so Target got a lot of hate at the time. But this potato head thing, I think, isn't really that big a deal because, again, Mr. Potato Head is still Mr. Potato Head. Mrs. Potato Head is still Mrs. Potato Head. They have just changed the overall branding to Potato Head because, again, I think they're going to have families of potato heads. Maybe I hope they get a little cat potato head. I mean,
Have you seen? I have a 3D Lego owl that David got me because I like owls. But I would love like it's a 3D like little toy one. It's actually right here because I love stuff like this. Like I totally.
that is so cute.
How freaking cute is this, right? Um, I would totally love stuff like that to be, potato head style. Different things.
Yeah.
The Mr. Potato Head or the Potato Head has been like a classic toy in every kid's toy box forever. I don't know if I ever had one. I don't remember having one. Um, I would have to ask my mom, but my mom does not. I am not her. I am on her shit list, and I have been for a couple of years now. So,
Yeah,
I
like I had one, I remember, and I feel like I loved it. Um, but it's like an old toy, like it's been around forever.
oh right. I mean, what do
You
they say?
know,
70 years.
70 years. So like our parents could have potentially had them. But I will say, obviously, Mr. Potato Head has gone through different. We're going to Potato Head instead of Mr. Potato Head as the brand now. But look at this, Matt. This was Mr. Potato Head back in the day.
That's like nightmarish. Oh my! I should call David in here and show him that. That's terrifying.
Any fruit or vegetable makes a funny face man.
Okay. I mean, that's really creative, but man, can you imagine your kid making one of those and setting that on your bedside table and you roll over and see that in the morning? It's like Elf on
Yeah.
a Shelf, but like somehow more horrifying.
Maybe they should have made this a different branding instead of Potato Head, because in this case they used to have a Mr. I guess Pepperhead, a Mr. Applehead, a Mr. Beethead, and a Mr. Orangehead. Like, it's fun for all the family. It can be assembled into innumerable characters. A few suggestions are shown.
The the Mr. Pepperhead looks like an evil Irish parody or something like racist. I mean,
Well, and it weirdly doesn't look like a pepper. It looks more
no,
like
it
an
doesn't look like
avocado.
yeah,
Oh
Mr.
my God,
Avocado
Mr.
Head.
Avocado Head. Do you ever see that video of the little kid? And it was like, I guess it was Christmas morning, and they had wrapped up an avocado, and he was so excited to get an avocado.
Look, if you can, buying avocados is frustrating because from the time you buy it and the hour later that you get home, it might be overripe or bad already. So the fact that this avocado got timed perfectly to be edible and ripe just perfectly for this kid to be happy about it, I'd be happy too, you know?
I love avocados. We have so many avocado. We have an avocado tree. We got one avocado last year, and something ate it. I think a raccoon got it,
Oh,
and it was almost ripe. We should have picked it, honestly, but
little
we
jerk.
didn't, and the raccoon got it. So that's kind of frustrating. But he, yeah, I love avocados. I'm actually excited tonight because it's burrito night. So
Oh,
that means guac and avocados on my
I'm
California
having,
burrito.
I'm having ravioli. We go to this place called Maggiano's, and they just have a really good setup for when you buy stuff to go. And I
Mm-hmm.
got that and tiramisu, and
You were telling me about that last night.
it's really good. It's so good. I yesterday I had only slept 3 hours. I was having really stressful dreams. Um, I had a dream that I talked about it a little bit on the podcast, but so I had a dream I was trying to turn off like a house alarm, and we have a house alarm, and it's like a normal keypad. You just do, and but in the dream, the one I was trying to turn off, it felt like it wasn't in my house, and it was higher up on the wall, and almost like all the numbers were there, but they were more spread out, as if it was like some kind of like cool design. A clock you'd buy in Urban Outfitters or something. Like it's a clock, but then it's all kind of spaced out and weird
Yeah.
looking. That's kind of what the alarm looked like, if that made any sense. And in the dream, I'm trying to press. For some reason, I was trying to press, I guess, the one button, but I couldn't reach it. So I thought I was pressing it, but it wasn't. But I kept hearing it beep. So I guess I don't like our alarm gives you 30 seconds. So in my dream, I kept telling myself in my dream that, okay, I got to like 30 seconds. I got to hit this damn button. And I couldn't quite reach it. And I think I'm hitting it, but I'm apparently not because the thing is still beeping. So I'm starting to stress out that I'm going to set off this alarm.
Yeah.
And I woke up stressing out about it. And then I couldn't remember. I couldn't tell if it was happening or not, or if I was really hearing my alarm on the first floor. And I couldn't tell if it was real or not because I'd only been asleep 2 or 3 hours. So I was probably awake for a good minute or two before I determined that I was only hearing it only in my dream, not the real world beeping into my dream. And I'm like, all right, okay. And then I couldn't fall back asleep. So I was awake until right before we were about to record. I was like, Cody, I think I need to sleep. And so I ended up sleeping an hour, got up, recorded with Cody, ate this huge portion of ravioli, which we ordered 4 meals total, one for each of us. So I just got two
Mm-hmm.
raviolis because I love ravioli a lot. And so I had that, and then this huge piece of tiramisu. I tried to get David to split it with me, and he ate 3 or 4 bites, and I ate the rest, and then passed right out again. It was awesome. And then I went to
um,
sleep again last night around 1 or 2 ish, and we
yeah.
slept until 1 today. Like I slept 10 plus hours, just nothing, just gone.
Yeah, you're starting to get back on your sleep schedule. Again, thank you everybody who is joining us on our chat.
Yes,
We are live on
I love
Facebook, on
that.
YouTube, and Twitter. Again, Twitter live is going to start going away like in March. So if you go to YouTube, you can subscribe to our channel on YouTube and you get notifications. Click on the little bell and you'll get a notification every time we go live. So for these, we're going to do these every Friday at 5. Every Friday at 5, and then we are going to do random recordings, possibly with our live episodes, but those will be not set in stone. But
These are
we'll start
recorded,
doing
right?
this. Yeah, these are recorded.
Yeah,
They'll
we post
if
it.
you
Yeah.
miss it, they are on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. Facebook also. Again, Twitter live is going away, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen with that. But Facebook, you can go add us on Facebook, the Facebook page, the ComaCast, and you can watch us live as there. And Matt, you'll be excited to know it is live captioned. So if you want
Oh,
to
do we
see
have closed
that,
captions? Like
live captioning on Facebook, live
awesome.
captioning on Facebook,
So yeah,
which
that's
is
really important.
crazy.
Right. So as we're getting kind of new into this, like we want to make sure anybody that wants to watch it can. And I know that we have people who are deaf that that I have as mutuals. I don't know if they watch our YouTubes or anything because you have closed captioning on YouTube, but there's a lot of programs and stuff that aren't accessible to deaf people or hearing impaired people, and it's like
You
why.
you
So it's really
know.
exciting that well, I mean, and that's so frustrating because I read lip a lot, and and I don't really know why. I don't know if it's my hearing's failing or not, but
Mhm.
I depend on it because I can't. I struggle with facial expressions, which is one of the reasons Cody and I, even when we do this, we always record on FaceTime, is so I can see him. And wearing masks, like
Can be
just
a frustration.
yeah, just like standing in line at Target, the Target Starbucks. These people, we've been going to the same Starbucks for 4 years, and the same 8 to 10 people rotating know who we are. And even then, sometimes David has to order for me because I have the plexiglass piece in front of them,
Hmm.
and they can't see me, and I can't see them. So it gets very frustrating. So, and that's just me, and I can hear, and I do have David to speak up for me through his mask, and so making it accessible for everybody else is awesome. And
And
also we have
captioning. I keep captioning on my when I'm watching movies and TV shows. I'm always like, I want captioning on because sometimes I don't hear what they say, and I want to be able to see it. So like,
I watch with
captioning is on so much, and like also like I watch some shows like Gold Rush. I know I've mentioned that before, and so sometimes it's hard to understand one of them. So movies, TV shows, I always do. Chris is asking, what is a random but good movie, or what this random question, but what is a good movie that you guys really like right now? Oh my gosh. What's a good
um
movie? What's a good movie?
there's a couple. I have a couple of go-to movies that I normally don't share music and movie opinions too much because people get so freaking mean about it, and I don't understand why. But Cody, I'll let you go first because I need to think of my answer.
Well, I'm gonna see. I have this app that I can see what I've watched. I'm trying to think what I've watched recently, but I can't even remember. I watched something the other day, but let's see something that's good that we've watched. Um, well, I'm excited to actually watch. Oh, what was that movie called? It was on HBO Max. Let me look it up real quick. And it stars Denzel Washington, um, and who are the other people in it? And this is one of the movies. Of course, Warner Brothers has decided to release all of their movies in theaters and on HBO Max at the same time. And this is basically to um, allow people to see the movies because no one's going to see movies in theaters. And so for like the first 30 days, you can watch it on HBO Max. And it was one of his newest movies that came out. And it starred also Jared Leto. And it was called The Little Things. Um, and it was really good. It was kind of like a crime thriller and like set like in the 70s. Um, and there's like a murder and they're trying to find out who the serial killer is. But that one was really good. It had Jared Leto and Denzel Washington in that movie. There was something else that we watched just the other day, and I'm just going completely blank.
I'm trying to think of what we watched on iTunes recently because we're kind of at the point where we watch like comfort movies or something familiar. Um, we recently watched. Oh, I always like watching Gods of Egypt. I wasn't too thrilled with like the casting because obviously it like wasn't really accurate, but I like the story. Um, because sometimes not everything needs to be a deep think piece. It can be a fun movie to just sit and watch, especially after the last 5 years. Um,
You wouldn't like my choices in movies because I'm always that's like mine are always like crime thrillers, CIA thrillers, like action, but like murders or like trying to find something. And Gabe is always like, "Can we just have something light?" And like my go tos are always that.
yeah, you know
And
what balances that out though? Your Hallmark Christmas schedule.
true. Yes, Jonathan. Rami Malek is also in The Little Things. So it's Rami Malek, Jared Leto, and Denzel Washington. And it's a great movie. I would definitely recommend watching that one. I would recommend HBO Max. I know it's another streaming service, but it is nice that they're going to have these first run movies. So we had Wonder Woman. We're gonna have Mortal Kombat. We're gonna have the Matrix movie. So all these
I
movies,
am
first run movies coming
really
out. So
excited
that's
about Mortal
excited.
Kombat. Okay, so the guy who played Kano in the original Mortal Kombat movie, I am 100. He recently passed away, but like I remember, like that was part of my gay awakening, and also the guy who played Robin in one of the Batman movies, because like that Chris O'Donnell, I think, and it's just like, well, I'm going to grow up to be a homosexual. It's gonna happen. Like I'm pretty sure, like of the combination, and that should tell you everything about like the types of people I like because there is no one type. Or I guess
Yeah.
the technically thing, they don't have types; they have times. Because having a type is stupid. You're just missing out. Another movie. Oh, there's a couple of movies I actually really like. I know the movie Constantine wasn't really accurate to the comics, but just as a separate movie, I enjoyed it because I'm really a big fan of Rachel Weisz. I also really
Mm-hmm.
like her in The Mummy and The Mummy Returns, which you know me. Mummy Returns is one of my all-time favorite movies. Um, I do actually. It's funny that you said that about how I wouldn't like your movie choices. I'm like, remember that time like a couple years ago I told you because I have this huge interest in serial killers and I have the psych degree on my wall up here on my left that I was like, Cody, we should do a podcast about murder, and you're like, oh, what a good idea. I don't know. We might have some agreements. I think we might be able to build a bridge
So
there.
see, Gabe loves like all of those documentary kind of things on serial killers. I don't watch those.
Yeah, no, what's amazing is like the stress you get over medical, but your favorite shows are like,
911, 911 Lodestar, and The Good Doctor.
oh my god,
Yes, uh,
it's my
Rami
life.
Malek. Rami Malek is beautiful.
I think he has an identical twin, if I remember correctly.
He does. Have you seen Mr. Robot?
I have not.
Oh my god, it's so good. We still have one more season left. We should have watched it a long time ago, but I
Have you
love
watched
Mr.
American
Robot.
Story 1984?
I
Because
have not.
yeah,
I have not.
there's a lot
Well,
there's stumbling blocks in this relationship, Cody.
another good movie we watched the other day was called Pride, um, and so it was really good, and it was about members of an LGBT um, group of people in London, and they went to help raise money for these miners because this was during the time when there was strikes going on. So it plays a little bit on some real life history and um, kind of like adding on to the story, I guess. And it was a really good movie. And so they go and help these miners because there's a strike going on, and Margaret Thatcher and the whole situation with that. But it's like such a really, really good movie. And yeah, I would definitely recommend this one. I cried during this particular movie. And so then at the end, of course, there's a handful of people that they have in this movie that they call out um, as real life characters, and you kind of see what they were able to do going on. And one of the girls, she was married and had a kid, and she after getting to experience and hang out with all these LGBT members and see that they were helping raise money, and they were trying to just be a part of this one whole group and help somebody else when they're down. And she later went on to run for office in England, and she went on and did stuff and helped with legislation. And actually, the whole thing about some equal rights, I believe, that they had gotten were because of unions, and particularly the mining unions. And if the mining unions wouldn't have come forward, these particular rights at the time wouldn't have passed Parliament. And so, because they had helped the miners at the time, the miners were like, we got to help you out now. And so I would definitely recommend Pride. That's a great movie to check out.
Two other movies to add to that well, they're kind of like house favorites here is Death Becomes Her. Um, if
That's a
you
good one.
if you know who
I
Madeline
just
is.
recently saw that like about 2 years ago.
Right. So if you look at who the producer was, you might be surprised to see what other movies he was involved in. But our car, so David has a silver Ford Escape. So that car's name is Madeline. That's what it's from. The other, I really like watching Clue as well.
I've
That's
not seen Clue.
really, that's kind of surprising.
Well, I know. I see it all the time, and I've been saying I wanted to see it, but I have like a whole list of movies and a whole list of TV shows, and like it's a lot. Like, and so it takes me a long time to get through things, and then I add new things, and it's a never-ending list. Again, we want to thank everybody who is here with us on this
Yeah,
live
thank you all
stream.
for joining us.
Again,
It's really fun.
we're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. If you are one of the people who are watching on Twitter, be sure and add us on Facebook and add us on YouTube. And on YouTube, hit the little bell for notifications when we go live. Twitter lives will be probably going away in March because they're getting rid of that. And so we have to work with that situation and see what happens with that.
Maybe
But
we can go to Instagram live, and we can work off. We might just open up an Instagram and we'll
yeah,
just
we
put.
do have an Instagram. Everyone can go add us on Instagram. Everything's at the ComaCast, so it's really easy for anybody
Yeah,
to
and Cody and I
find.
split how we do things. So I went off Facebook years ago. I've only been back on it to, I'll be honest, stalk family members, like while I was doing research. And I don't interact too much on it. I didn't interact too much on it, so it's been deleted. So I typically am the one watching our Twitter, even though Cody can see everything. But as Johnny Apollo said, one day Cody is probably going to change passwords on me, so I can't access things. But
I forgot
today,
what you said that day
yeah, it
that
was
he
pretty
said
funny.
that. Yes, I'm glad you're with me. There's so many things to catch up on. Like, I have a whole app. It's called let's see what it's called. It's called TV Time, and it's literally a list. And I just have like this whole long list. This is a list of TV shows. That's only TV shows, and it's still going that I need to catch up on. And then there's
Oh,
obviously movies that I have to catch up on. And so it's like, there's not enough
right
time in the day.
right before the cold hit, when we were all getting the announcements, I wrote the announcement from our ComaCast Twitter saying that be mindful of the weather, bring your pets and tops
Mm.
inside. Kind of if you're cold, they're cold. And Johnny Apollo was like, he's gonna change the passwords on you one day, and I said yes, but today is not that day.
Gonna lock you out.
Yeah.
You don't have Facebook, so either YouTube or Instagram. So the thing is, when we go live, it goes everywhere. So anywhere we can be live, it will be live. It's just that Twitter is taking away Periscope. Basically, Periscope is going away. Twitter still has live, but they haven't created a way for are programmed to send a live feed to them. So yeah, YouTube will always be broadcasting YouTube. That's the thing. We want to be broadcasting to everywhere because some people have preferences. They only like YouTube stuff, and YouTube is higher quality. I will
Yeah,
say that. So if
it
you
is
are on
great quality.
Periscope, it's good. Facebook is also really good quality. I checked that out. So any options anywhere you want it, it'll be there. Who knows? Well, we still. I was telling Matt about this new app because it seems like there's always a new app anywhere. So we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we're on all of those. YouTube. We need to get a TikTok because now we have a lot of videos of things and Matt's reaction to things.
Yeah, so we've learned that I am aware when I'm on camera because like I don't really do anything well, I don't do anything that's not normal to me, which may or may not be caught on camera. So when we're recording the podcast or anything, Cody's used to me being me and I'm used to Cody. But I randomly so throughout the week he'll send me clips and text messages of things he found because he'll play back everything. I do go back and watch it, but I don't really think anything of it because I don't like to watch myself. I'm watching for like quality. Did I how in sync were we? Were we paying attention? Is the audio lined up? Cody will send me, hey, when did you actually do this? That kind
Well,
of thing,
and the thing is, a lot of those actually aren't in what you see because they're edited out. And so what I've been sending you are just like the little excerpts of whatever it is.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
and
see if I can find one, but I think I moved them and I don't know where I moved them to.
are you talking about the coffee one where I was
The
all like,
coffee one,
yeah, I actually
yeah.
have it because I showed it to a friend and he was pretty amused. Um,
Yeah, if I find it in a little bit, I will I don't know where I put it. I
yeah, I
just
actually have it. I'll show it. I'll send it to you. Oh wait, you actually sent it to me, so I
I
actually have
actually
that too.
sent it to you,
That's
but
funny.
I'm not on my computer right now,
One
so
of the
I
things
can't.
we had wanted to possibly do with this, I had told Cody. So early on when we started doing this, we kind of talked about what did we envision this becoming, and because much like how writing this book for me personally has gone, I did not know what I was doing. So I was like, well, I think I told Cody I thought it'd be so fun to have kind of a news, uh, like almost like a news thing that we do where we kind of have fun with it. Yeah, we can bring up serious topics, but the podcast itself can be for the more serious topics. The news can be informative, but us because you have to have an outlet, and I cannot contain myself. So, and Cody has come to terms with that. I think he's learning to embrace that. And I routinely like to ruin Cody's professionalism every chance I get. So, it really is a good time. So I was always hoping that we'd be able to do this like news desk style, especially like when Cody's being a pain in the ass. It's like now live Cody being a bitch, like something like that.
I cannot believe I lost that video, but
Which one?
I'm gonna pull it up now. I have
I
to
just
send it to
texted
my
you.
phone.
I just texted you.
Um, so let's see. We'll save it here. But yeah, Matt always gives me great reactions to different things, so it's always fun. Let's see here. We'll see if it plays. We were having some
What
issues
did
the
I
other
do?
day.
Wait, is this the
This is
reaction
the
or?
coffee one. This
Oh,
is the
okay. I'm like,
coffee
oh god,
one.
what? This is the normal
I'm
one.
playing
Okay.
something you've never seen before.
How many like meat hooks were involved before we, just so I know.
Well, I don't think it's gonna play, so you win. Um,
I win. Well, no, I got in Starbucks and it was the first time in like 10 days. So I thought Cody was watching me but while we're recording stuff, we're looking at our cameras, but at the same time, a lot of times we're looking at our messages between us because we send each other stuff so we can, maybe we want to change topics. The audio has gone out, and then Cody, but most of the time the camera is still recording our faces. So any looks of frustration, and I got in my Starbucks and I was like, Cody, oh my god, like some ridiculous face, and it made it to camera. I just didn't
well,
even think about
okay,
it.
so I went back. I went back to look at that actually, and it didn't. So I had pulled up a graphic over the screen, and so you only saw half of you, and you heard you, but it didn't pick you up, sadly. I was so annoyed that it didn't pick you up. Again, if anybody's watching, if you have questions and if you want to join us, like we want somebody to join us, we can send you a link and you can join us for like just a few minutes or whatever. It would be amazing. But
It'll be
again, if you,
fun.
it would be fun. But
You
if
talk
you
about
have
whatever you
questions,
want.
be
You
sure.
don't have to be on video. Just want to
You
highlight that.
don't have
You
to be on video. You do
don't want
not
to
have to be
be.
on video.
I've just learned to. So growing up, I hated being on video. Nobody likes the sound of their voice. But because of my speech therapy, in my head, everybody could understand me. But when I would hear a playback of myself, it was even hard for me to understand me. And it was very frustrating. And you don't like to be reminded of that every day. And on camera, when I was younger, my scars were a lot more visible. And then, of course, teenage years, awkward puberty, pre nose jobs, braces and everything. And so I'm here, I can hear the wind whistling through my teeth. And I didn't like it. I was super paranoid. And then I kind of hit this point of like, well, I don't give a crap. So here I am with my animal background doing this, and
I was like,
and
Matt, you're going to be on camera. We're going.
we're doing this. Well, and because
Get in.
what I really, yeah, get in, loser. We're going live casting.
And now
But
he's like being broadcasted to 3 different locations right now.
well, after college, you do some things that I don't want to say not proud of because I just don't care. But
A crazy story, Matt, though. It's sad, but still, it's just like kind of like shocking. I'm like, what? But Lady Gaga's dogs, that whole situation, like on
right,
Wednesday night, where
right. So
there
Cody and
was
I did have some topics to actually talk about tonight.
there was a male suspect that shot and wounded Lady Gaga's dog walker, Ryan Fisher, and stole 2 of the 3 French bulldogs, Koji
Right,
and Gustav. And the third dog, Miss Asia, was ran off and wandering. And then the police located her and found her. And then the bodyguard came and got Miss Asia and took her back home. But all this happened in like West Hollywood,
right. Mr.
where a
Fisher shot
suspect.
4 times in the chest, I believe.
Yeah,
He
it's
was
just
shot
like a
several times in the
crazy
chest.
thing. Like she's offering a $500,000 reward for her dogs, no questions asked. But like, and I guess we don't know really any information about like whether or not they knew it even was Lady Gaga's dogs, because these dogs are really in high demand just in general. And so I guess it could have been that they were just a high demand dog and they were trying to get all 3 dogs, like dog napping going on over here, real life dog napping, or if they did know it was Lady Gaga's dogs. But I saw that and I was like so like shocked, because you don't think that like when you go walk a dog that anything is going to happen like that, and then to like have a gun pulled on you and you got shot. It's just a sad thing. So hopefully, something will come
Right,
about
that's
of
to
it.
find somebody because I mean, I can't believe he survived 4 shots to the chest. When I lived in Pennsylvania, there was this rash of uh, people taking people's dogs. They were like going to people's houses because the area I lived in was slightly rural. Like city and rural just kind of overlap each other. It doesn't make sense unless you've been to Southwest Pennsylvania. But the um, uh, people were going around and unlocking people's gates and letting their dogs out and then grabbing the dogs. And it was happening to like, especially people with like shepherds, huskies, collies, bigger dogs. And my dog was a yellow lab husky mix. And I already only was outside with her um, with a leash on and in our yard and area. But it's just really weird because people were seeing the same truck around, and seeing the same truck is kind of impressive when you think that area is all trucks. So, people were being targeted, and it's kind of scary because you don't know what someone will do if they're aiming for your dog and then run into you. It was enough that it was still happening when we moved to Texas. We did not actually at any point, like, we made the decision that if we stayed anywhere, it would only be hotel, and we went to even like pull over at a rest stop to go to the bathroom. One of us stayed in the car with her, and because you just don't know, because she was a very pretty dog,
Mm-hmm.
and just don't know who's going to break your window and take your dog. Even though we drove in the winter and it was, not hot out, just complete craziness.
So he's doing better. Doctors say he's going to make a recovery. Ryan. And police also don't have any suspects right now, but they actually are saying now that they do have reason to believe that it was a targeted hit on Lady Gaga's dogs for ransom. So I guess we'll see what happens since she is offering $500,000 to get them back. But this is a
That's,
horrible
oh my
thing.
God. I mean, I'm just glad the dog walker survived. I mean, I'm glad, it sounds like the dogs are probably going to be fine if they can find them. But
Yeah.
I mean,
And she
to
just like
shoot a guy 4 times over dogs, like, are you kidding me?
yeah, I mean, he was probably trying to hold on to them, is my thought. And Lady Gaga's also saying, like, if you accidentally buy these, because sometimes you can buy these animals that get stolen from people, and you don't even know anything had happened. So she's just mentioning if that happens, just whatever. Jonathan is asking a question for you, Matt,
Yeah.
saying you've mentioned a lot of surgeries before. How many have you had in total?
I have had 20. I have had 20 complete surgeries on my face. Most of them, all the ones that I count, were ones that I was put under general anesthesia for. General anesthesia is when you are actually put to sleep, not just topical where they numb you. Some were more minor than others, but even then, they generally had to put me to sleep. Like, uh, I had the first 5 before age 5. The first one I had within the first few months of being born. Like, as soon as I was to a healthy weight, they go in and repair my lip and palate. And then over the years, they cut tissue out, put it in other places. So I don't have tonsils, skin on the back of my throat. Like, I'm missing tons of tissue back there because they pulled it out and packed it into other places to seal up my palate. Um, and then I had extra tissue like around my gum line and around my teeth, and they pulled out. I had like the tooth. This tooth is not real. It's part of a bridge because I don't. My cleft runs through that space, so I had
Yeah.
half of a root for a baby tooth. So, for example, they pulled that out, and then the tissue that would have grown there, that should have been hard for a tooth to grow through it, ended up kind of being like soft tissue, like soft as in like your lip, like that kind of soft, but inside my mouth. So they went in and cut that out and stitched it up. It wasn't a big deal, done in 30, 45 minutes, but they still had to put me out for it, clean it up, make sure something else wasn't growing through me. Just a lot of little maintenance things. And then sometimes I would have 2 or 3 procedures in one. That was really fun. Um, but technically, I am done. I could have elected to have one more major surgery, so the bones of my face do not project out as far as they're supposed to of how development. So this part, my cheekbones are slightly flatter than they're supposed to be. So they had to wait until I was almost 18 to see if it was going to grow. So to fix that, they break. It's trigger warning. They basically take pliers, medical pliers, put them in there, and break your bones, like the bones of your face, pull it out slightly, screw and wire it together, and then it'll all heal correctly. And the
Mm-hmm.
idea of that was to help center my nose and put everything kind of where it was supposed to be, because my upper lip is kind of retracted slightly. I don't have a complete upper lip because it wasn't that I was born and then it split. As in utero, as you're healing and everything comes together, my upper lip kind of did this. So it healed and formed completely apart from here all the way out, all the way to the back of my jaw, or all the way to the back of my mouth, to the back of my throat. You could just look straight in. So every surgery, for every surgery, it creates a maintenance surgery. Some kids, I do know of some people who did not have their very first cleft palate surgery until they were 12. Now, there's a lot of cons to that because obviously they had to live with it until they were 12. However, when you're 12, you are more formed, so they would have had more done at once rather than they probably would have had half or less the amount of surgeries I had. They would have been able to have a lot of things done at once, then have their braces done, and then probably the last thing is usually the nose job because our
Mm-hmm.
noses are flattened, our septums are usually twisted, and so for me, they had to reconstruct my nostrils. One side was completely reconstructed, cut and reshaped, and that was the most painful experience of all of it. And the crazy thing was, it was the tiniest cut on the very edge of my nostril where they kind of just helped reform it. I swear it took months to heal, and it like air would touch it and just, ooh, it would like twitch so hard it would shut both my eyes.
Yeah.
But it was the tiniest little cut. I've had paper cuts deeper than that, and it just, for some reason, that little freaking cut. But that was way more information than you asked for. But
now you're informed.
now you're very informed.
We have about 10 minutes left. So, again, if anybody has any other questions or any comments or whatever, please let us know. We'll probably be doing another live, a late night live, as we only did one of those, and we were calling it, I think, Late Night with Cody and Matt. And who knows what will happen on that show. But
go ahead.
we do that later on than this. We were trying it around this time just for our normal show to see how y'all like it and stuff. Matt, I came across a video today, and as we know, my cat has been sick and we've been having to give her medicine, and you have to like syringe it into her mouth because it's all like a liquid medicine. But I came across this video. This is basically what happens to my cat when we give her medicine. Here we go.
Woody. Qué cosita linda.
I feel like we had to do that one more time. So we
I wasn't expecting that.
You're right. It's
Woody.
so I love TikTok, and there's a lot of videos on TikTok with cats, and like either they smell something or again they're getting medicine or something like that, and they make that noise, or like one will like smell like, you know, a bowl of chips, and they just do not like that smell, and they make that noise, and me and Justin die every time. Like the poor things, but the noise is just so. Oh.
I had one topic I wanted to bring up. I mentioned
yes.
it at the beginning. So this was posted by I got permission for this, by the way. It was posted by @BPD Brian with a Y. Brian with a Y. Oh, here it is. So what it says, if you can't read it, it says, "Gay men, paparazzi are creepy and disturbing. Also gay men, takes pictures of stranger with no consent and thirst uploads it to social media." So I had my own experience with this a few months ago at the gym. We had finally been able to go back. So we were going at midnight when there's maybe one other person in the entire building. And this person, I'd seen them in our gym before, and I knew they were there only in the sense I walked by them and noticed them. I don't watch people in the gym because it's creepy. And I was working on a machine that has 4 sides to it. It has pulleys and various things. And then the treadmills where I was standing are on the left, maybe 10, 15 feet away. And for some reason, I was finishing what I was doing, and I turned to my left, and the guy has stopped running, and he's turned around, and he's got his phone around his hip, kind of turned around facing me. And I can see what he's doing. And I didn't say anything because he clearly stopped what he was doing as soon as he noticed I saw him, and like left pretty quick after that. And I guess he didn't see that David was 10 feet the other way around the corner, or he didn't care. But David was slightly out of my view because I kind of got David's attention, and when David walked over to me, the guy left. Like, then I noticed that's when he left. But I didn't even think about reporting it, and I don't know why I didn't, because he was wearing like bright green shorts, gym shorts. So it would have been very easy to like figure out who he was and let a staff member know. But it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're just trying to get there and get home, and I didn't like it. It didn't feel good. I mean, I know what I post on Twitter. I know I run an alt account. That is my choice to post that. It is not me somebody taking pictures of me in a public place. And technically I can't stop somebody from doing that, but I mean, gyms are private property, so rules are a little different. This isn't like I was walking through a parking lot. But when I went online, I came back home and I was kind of frustrated about it. So I tweeted about it because consent is a big topic in our community. and some people don't understand the word no. And the amount of people, I think the thread is still up. This would have been 6 months ago now. I never deleted the tweet, but how many comments and DMs when it did come up that I got saying that, oh, but you're really cute, or whatever the person's opinion of me was. That is not appropriate. That is not the appropriate response. If this person was not just taking a picture of the gym and I happened to be standing there, he was literally recording me what I was doing. That does not help people's anxieties. Now, I will say, in all the times, in the thousands of times I've been to the gym in the last, 15 years that I've been attempting exercise, that is one of the only times I've ever actually seen anybody do that. Because I'm always like, 99% of people go to the gym, they do their thing, and they go home. They're not looking at you because they don't want to look at you, because they don't want you to look at them either. And it was just really strange. I did get like I got the gay vibe from him, but even more so, very plainly when you see me walking around, you're like, oh, he's on our team. But that doesn't make it okay. I don't know you and you don't know me, and people are creepy. It's also 1:00 in the morning at a gym. Like I have to walk across a dark parking lot to now get to my car. Comforting. Think about how you make other people feel. But what it stuck to me most was the people that wrote a lot of those comments. If I think of their Twitters, I think of how they write, and there's a lot of hypocrisy there. Versus what they write and how they act. And then that was a perfectly good opportunity to write, oh, wow, gross, that shouldn't happen. But you're cute. You might even be saying it from a good place, even if you think it's a gross behavior and you're just trying to get my mind off of it or whatever misguided thing you thought. That is the wrong answer. The right answer is some form of, that's gross behavior, that shouldn't happen. And be mindful of it, because, well, I'm not bothered in the sense of like, I never saw the guy again, and had I would have reported him, because once my brain started working again, I was just so surprised and thrown off guard because it was 1:00 in the morning. But that happens to people who aren't as comfortable speaking and talking about it and internalize those things. One minor event, most people are going to brush off, but you don't know who's reading your work. So I interact with a lot of people. If you know me or interact with me, I give my attention fully to a conversation. If you want to talk to me, because I appreciate it. So you don't know who's reading that and seeing your comments and seeing like, wow, so that's what they have to say. It makes people nervous, and then they might internalize the next time it happens, if something like that happens, or they want to speak up, and then they see that somebody that they thought might be somebody they could share with is going to say, oh, but you're cute. Okay, just because you think somebody is physically attractive to you doesn't mean they deserve to have their privacy violated. Like, it's like, that's great that you think somebody's pretty, but that has nothing to do with consent. So let's be mindful of consent and continue to call it out when we see it. And that is the end of my rants. Thank you.
You're welcome. We should have a segment. Matt's weekly rant.
Well, I wouldn't file that under a rant in the sense of, because people get kind of pushed away saying, oh, they're just being angry and crazy. They're just being bothered. Or one thing I saw that was just really awful on one mutual's Twitter was, I just can't listen when pretty people talk about their problems. And I'm like, just because you think they're a hot does not mean they should be opened up to sexual assault. It's like, don't get me wrong. Some really conventionally pretty people are really fucking arrogant, but even then, that does not okay sexual assault. And it's just like frustrating. Oh, wow. Thanks, guys, for demonstrating exactly what I'm saying in what I just said. Thank you for listening.
So we are getting to the end of our episode here. We thank everybody who is joining us and has joined us. We have a few more minutes left, but
Well, I don't have anything else. So, I mean, unless somebody wants to join, I think I'm good. We don't want everybody to just have to sit here and stare at us for like 5 minutes.
We thank that everybody who did join us. We
Yes, we
had
really
several
appreciate it.
people that have hung out with us through the entire episode, and we thank you. Again, we're going to be doing this every Friday at the same time, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. So you'll be able to tune in and get like on our regular schedule, just like we releasing our podcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Again, if you have missed those episodes, you can get those wherever you get your podcast episodes, Apple, Spotify, etc. We released some pretty good ones this week. We talked about the Tulsa massacres on Thursday, which was a really interesting topic. And so if you don't know about those, if you don't know about that, check that out. That was an episode that is really interesting, but it took us quite a while to record. So a lot of effort went into that episode, but it's a really good, insightful episode. And then we will have more episodes coming out next week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and of course this every Friday. And then we'll do a late night one.
Probably Sundays, Saturday or Sundays.
Yeah, Saturday or Sunday. Probably like
maybe Saturday because people work Mondays, so we don't want everybody like up, staying up too late. So maybe Saturday night might be better, since at least for now nobody's really going out.
Yeah, y'all just let us know what time. It'll probably be like a little late because it'll be probably about 9 o'clock Pacific. So it'll probably be like 11 o'clock Central, midnight.
Oh man, you weren't
Eastern.
kidding. Really going for that'll be the more like relaxed, chill one.
That's the chill one that we encourage everybody to grab a drink and just hang out with us.
Yes, please, because I cannot.
we and it was off camera, but Matt was talking about how like he could seductively read things.
Oh yeah, I could read like.
He could read excerpts of books to all of you.
I can narrate. I did a narration of a friend's writing the other day to another mutual, and it was pretty funny. He said he had a great time with it, and David had a great time watching me type it. So, if there's something you want me to read or throw opinions on, I'm happy to do that because I cannot. Again, I can't control myself, so let's go ahead and focus this on something.
I'll have to give you a recipe for a mocktail.
A mocktail?
Non-alcoholic cocktail.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm there.
I'll make it delicious.
Fantastic. Oh yeah, so you can do like a is it called the Comatini? Oh, that sounds a little predatory. Let's not call
Comatini.
I meant to be like the Comacast like drink, but if you call it the Comatini, it sounds a little maybe
put somebody into a coma.
Yeah. Maybe no, we are not. No. Maybe we should come up with a different name for that. I'm sorry, everyone.
Yeah, we'll come up with something. But yeah, we'll see you. We don't know a time exactly, but I'm saying it'll be around that time probably, and we'll let everybody
and try it and see.
We'll let everybody know. We'll tweet about it and let everybody know what time. Or even better, go to YouTube. Most of it, everybody I see is on YouTube. Thank you. It's a lot better.
I hope it's working better for everybody.
If you are on
YouTube.
If you're on YouTube and you haven't done it, I see all of you are on YouTube. 3 of you are on YouTube right now. Hit the little bell for notifications, and then whenever we go live, you'll be notified. And when you see that notification, you either join us or you don't. But again, thank all of you for joining us, and we will see you soon.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening and watching.